The night my job disappeared, I cried so hard I had to pull over on the 405 with my hazards on, palms shaking, tears blurring the red trail of brake lights ahead. I remember the taste of salt and the smell of burnt coffee in my car cup holder, and this one thought kept looping. Is this the moment my life falls apart? Spoiler, it wasn't. It was the moment my tears became fuel. I'm Sarah, and if you're watching this, you're probably juggling deadlines, debt, and doubt. Studies consistently show high levels of workplace stress across the US, especially for those of us in our late 20s and 30s. I feel you. Here's the truth I learned the hard way. Pain is a message, and when you listen, it becomes momentum. That's the life lesson. This is my motivational story. That day started normal. Slack pings, reheated oatmeal, a to-do list with a pulse, then a calendar invite with no agenda. The Zoom window opened, HR eyes were soft, and the phrases came. Restructuring, not a reflection of your performance, 2 weeks severance. I nodded. I smiled because that's what we do. Then I closed the laptop, and the quiet in my apartment got loud. Rent was going up next month. My mom's medical bills were sitting in my inbox with subject lines like pending. I texted my sister, I'm fine, because I didn't want her to worry, and then I took that drive and fell apart on the shoulder under a bruised evening sky. The next 48 hours were a blur of doom-scrolling, microwaved meals, and the kind of fatigue you can't nap away. I applied to jobs like a machine. Resume, send, repeat, until my eyes hurt. I woke up at 3:12 a.m. on the kitchen floor with my cheek against cold tile and the hum of the fridge in my ear. My heart felt like a drumline in my ribcage. I was drowning in what-ifs. What if I'm behind? What if I missed my shot? What if everyone passes me? Here's the turn. I looked at my reflection in the oven door, puffy-eyed, hair wild, and I whispered, okay, this pain is here. What is it trying to tell me? Tears kept coming, and then I remembered something my high school cross-country coach shouted on the worst hills. Run toward the burn, that's where you build. It hit me. My tears weren't weakness. They were data. Proof I cared. Proof something needed to change. If emotion is energy, I could pour it into motion. So I did 3 things right there on the floor. First, I named exactly what I felt. Not just stressed. It was grief, shame, fear. I set a 90-second timer and breathed in a square. 4 in, hold 4, 4 out, hold 4, letting each wave peak and fall. Second, I drew 2 columns on a sticky note. Control and not control. Control, my morning, my outreach, my learning, my body. Not control, the market, other people's timelines, past decisions. Third, I picked 1 tiny action. Not heroic, tiny. 5 push-ups against the counter. 5 job leads saved. 5 minutes of a free online course. I refused to let the day end on 0. The next morning, I created a rule I still use, the 5-5-5. 5 minutes moving my body. 5 minutes learning. 5 minutes reaching out. Micro, but daily. Because consistency beats intensity when you're rebuilding. I also built what I call my Courage Quota, 3 uncomfortable actions before noon. Send a message to someone I admire. Apply for a role that stretched me. Ask a friend for feedback on my resume. I set a kitchen timer for 20-minute sprints. No tabs, phone in the other room. The tears didn't vanish, but they started to feel like gasoline. Every time I felt that ache rise up, I'd ask, what is the smallest hard thing I can do right now? Mas, amainya, and then I did it. There were setbacks. A recruiter ghosted me after 3 rounds. I bombed a technical screen and ate a pity quesadilla on my couch. I almost said yes to a job that felt wrong because fear yelled louder than intuition. But each low point carried a clue. If I cried after calls where I said sure too fast, maybe the lesson was boundaries. If I felt alive studying product strategy for an hour, maybe the lesson was direction. So I kept showing up for the tiny stuff, and I started tracking wins like a lawyer stacking evidence. A compliment from a mentor, a paragraph of a cover letter I was proud of, a good night's sleep, a run that felt easier than last week. My win folder grew, and with it, my proof that I wasn't stuck. I was compounding. 90 days in, I got an offer from a company with a manager who talked about people first. The role wasn't just a step up. It fit who I was becoming. My Sundays stopped feeling like countdowns to dread. I paid off a card balance that had followed me for too long. I breathed easier. And this surprised me most. I didn't lose the tears. I repurposed them. When my mom's health flared and the hospital waiting room felt endless, I cried in the stairwell, then texted 3 people for help because asking is strong. When a new project stretched me, I cried from pressure, then used it as a cue to break the work into 30-minute blocks and take a walk. The fuel kept flowing. If you're in the thick of it, here are the moves that changed my trajectory, woven into the story you just heard. Name it to tame it, label the exact emotion, and ride the 90-second wave with square breathing. Build the 5-5-5, 5 minutes moving, 5 minutes learning, 5 minutes reaching out. Daily, no excuses. Set a courage quota. 3 uncomfortable actions before noon. Use a 20-minute timer sprint to cut the dread. Make an energy budget. List your top 3 daily priorities and 1 not to do that protects them. Schedule your toughest task in your best hour. Start a win folder. Screenshot praise, save small victories, track streaks. Use your own receipts to fight your inner critic. Here's the universal tie-in. Hardship isn't a detour, it's part of the road. The tears you're ashamed of? They're signals. Listen, convert, act. If you want a deeper system for tiny habits that stack big, I keep going back to Atomic Habits. Link in the description. Not because hacks solve life, but because structure holds you when emotions storm. This is a motivational story, but it's really a life lesson. Your feelings aren't the enemy, they're the fuel. When you cry, ask what the tears are asking you to move. When you feel behind, shrink the task until you can't not start. When you doubt, open your win folder and remember who you've already been. Your tears are not proof you're weak, they're proof you're awake. Small brave actions repeated become a life you recognize. Run toward the burn. That's where you build. If this hit home, like the video, subscribe for more tools to help you level up, and drop the word fuel in the comments so I know you're turning pain into power. You're not broken, you're building. Let's go.